game. Take me out to the crowd. Here we are, 78 degrees. D-backs and A's tied at 1 in the top of the 5th.
God, what are you going to do once April hits? There's nothing to do.
I don't know. I got to go to ASU spring football, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
More often.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, it's Factor Fouhy. We do it every week, even when he's on the road covering the D-backs. All right, this one is a little bit of a stretch because Manuch just assumes that the Suns are going to make it to the NBA Finals. I'm hoping they just get it past the first round in the playoffs. So here you go. Suns fans realize that they will need the big three and a healthy Suns team to beat the likes of a Boston Celtics team if they get to the NBA Finals. Fact or Fouhy?
Just play along, Coach.
Is that a real question?
Yeah, buddy.
Great, so first one. So they're going to get better after this.
Yeah, fact.
Okay.
You need the big three. You need everybody healthy. You got to have them playing on all cylinders, right? They got to hit on all cylinders. When they hit the playoffs, they got to be at full strength. So, absolutely. True.
All right, Coach, good to hear that. KD leading the sentence, scoring 4 of the last 5 games, is proving his leadership of this team by his actions and not his words. Fact or Fouhy?
I don't know how to answer that because I don't know his words, right? I don't know what kind of a guy he is on the practice court and in meetings. I'm not sure. I see him on the court, and I see him leading on the court with what he does. And some guys are leaders vocally. Some guys are leaders in action. Some guys do both, right? And I can't speak to Kevin Durant's talking part of that, right? The leadership verbal skills. But he certainly is on the court. I mean, he's been the most consistent guy they've had in the big three in playing nearly every game. So I would say fact, although I don't know about the verbal side.
Yeah, I think the last in Saturday's game is Everett struggling he knew he had to step up and have 45 points in order to keep this team in the game. They just didn't have the wherewithal or the support to go ahead and win that game in the end.
No, but he's done that repeatedly this year, right? I mean, he's stepped up and led this team in scoring. And, he's done a great job, I think, all season long. If you look at his body of work, it's been pretty solid.
I agree with that, Coach. The Suns' 4-game road trip will be a true test of whether they are a play-in team or a regular playoff team, which would mean they would be in the top 6. Fact or Fouhy?
Oh, there's 2 parts to that. One, it's a fact that they've got a grinder. They got 18 games left in this 4-game road trip other than Charlotte later in the week. They're all tough, right? They're going Cleveland, Boston, Milwaukee, and then they've got that one in Charlotte in between Boston. And it's just going to be a tough one. And then when you get past San Antonio, the last 10 games are a grinder. I mean, it's just a meat grinder, right?
Yep.
And it's a minefield. I mean, so they got a tough road, and there's only about 4 breathers, maybe 5 in this last 8 teams. So they're not going to have an easy road. And this one definitely is going to set the tone for how they finish out.
All right, ABC 15's Craig Fouhy with us today. The Cards need to go above and beyond in free agency and grab some impactful players that will help this team win now. Fact or Fouhy?
Didn't we talk about this last week?
Yep.
I think Monty Ossenfort said he's going to build this team through the draft. They didn't do much of anything last year in free agency. I don't anticipate them doing a lot this year in free agency. I heard they were interested in Wilkins, who ended up with the Raiders. But I'm not sure that that's where they stand on this. I don't think they want to spend all the cash on free agents for a 1 year, one and done, or a 2 year come in and see you later. I just think he's got a plan that kind of takes them down the road more than just this year right away. I think they were competitive last year. So we'll give them that. We'll see how they do in year 2 with Jonathan Gannon. But I'm not sure that Monty Ossenfort sees free agency as the way to build this team over the long haul.
I think so far the priority today was they got Nichols from the Raiders, a defensive, like a 3 technique, and then they signed also another defensive tackle today. It sounds like the defense for now, Coach, is the priority, as well as who's the young man?
Justin Jones.
Yeah, Justin Jones.
From the Bears.
From the Bears. And then also the Sean Murphy Bunting, the kid they signed as far as a corner. Sounds like he wants to be somewhat impactful or fill in with some of this defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, that's you clearly have to build the defense, right? They were not good. And so you've got a good safety tandem between those 2 guys back and back. You need some corners. You need some help up front because you didn't have much pressure from the front interior guys or the edge. So they've got to build the defense. It's got to be a part of his plan. But I think he's going to look for the long haul and not the short term, because when he came in here, he had to really clean up the mess that Steve Keim left. So he's kind of looking at it differently in terms of how do you build for the long term.
All right, Coach, last one. The trade deadline moves or lack thereof by the Yotes to get about, 90 more picks proves that next year will be yet another carbon copy of the last few years. No advancement to be had. Fact or Fouhy?
Yeah, fact. Listen, again, Bill Armstrong's trying to build this team for the long haul, and he said it's going to be a long process. We have to be patient. And we talked about it a week ago. You have to be patient with this team, but it's hard to be patient because we've been through so many of these, right? And now we've got the whole arena deal and what's going on there, and they keep throwing a lure out to us and reeling it in. Oh, we didn't mean March. We meant April. Oh, we didn't mean April. We meant June, and so we keep hearing the same thing, be patient, be patient. But when you're sellers and you pick up more draft picks, and now they've got like 10 draft picks in the top, it's crazy how many picks he's built. And you can use those for merchandise later, right? You can pick somebody up in the off season. You can pull somebody in the off season this summer in free agency. But he's trying to build it with young guys. He's trying to build this franchise the way it should be built through the draft and have them come up through your farm system. But sellers is frustrating, right? For fans, we've just been there before, and it's frustrating to continually have a team that's selling at the trade deadline.
Fouhy, should it be through the draft? Should you build a team through the draft? I mean, what book have we read that says that works?
Brock, I think it's a combination.
I
right?
do too.
I think only about 30% of draft picks actually pan out, right?
Yeah,
I think that's in the NFL. I'm not even sure about hockey. It's like baseball, right? You draft these guys, you don't see them for 7 years.
Right.
How many guys actually make it to the big league level? And that's the tough part about this. I think it's a mix. And I think now with the finances, you got to figure out what you want to do and where you're going to be. And it's been a really difficult. There's maybe a home run bounced off the wall by the A's. Oh, bummer. Sorry, guys. I'm play-by-play here.
No, we love it.
Yeah,
we love it.
Works for me.
More importantly,
4-1. A's go up 4-1 here. Here we go.
All right. So, what was lunch today? Did you get another brat?
You know what? I didn't have lunch today. I got a croissant this morning and just had a plain croissant.
Okay.
That's been my lunch. This is not an easy job, fellas. It's not easy.
We know. We're sweating over these microphones right now.
I'm shooting from the radio booth today, and I really expected you guys to be in here when I walked in. It's the Rock and Minute show. Let Jimmy be, right? Where are you?
That'd be great. Well, we'll let you
on the road, man.
We love to. We're at the casino right now, but we'll talk to you next week as always, and keep up the great work, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, fellas. See ya.
That's Craig Fouhy joining us on the road, covering the Diamondbacks, as he just mentioned, 4-1
Losing
A's.
to the Oakland A's. The worst team in Major League Baseball. They're losing to the Oakland A's. Oh, I know. It's just spring training. It doesn't count.
Do you, like Minuch, just look in the mirror and just practice what you're going to say on the air and just say something totally stupid?
No, that wasn't
really
stupid.
Don't.
No,
you
because
you both do it. It's so corny how you guys want to sound funny, but you're not.
No.
How do you know we're not?
Because I'm not laughing.
Well, that's just you. What if somebody in the car's dying laughing?
You're definitely not funny, Jimmy B. We don't have to worry about that.
Shoot it and smile. There's no one smiling.
The insinuation that it's a spring training game, right, Jimmy?
That's my point.
I got you right there. I see that.
He brought up the Yotes. I counted 13 picks. They got a first round coming up. They have 3 2s, 3 3s, and 2 4s. To his point, where they got like 10 picks in the top 5. 5 rounds,
and we'll see 2 of them that will be
if they're around
on the team.
If they're around,
yeah.
By the way, a new in-season men's college basketball tournament is coming, and they're going to offer $2 million in NIL deals. It's going to be an 8-team event. Expanding to 16 teams in 2025. We'll pay out $1 million to each team and another $1 million to the winner. Coaches, collectives, NIL operators, they're going to distribute the earnings to the current players. It's a first-of-a-kind men's college basketball tournament launching in the fall. It's going to be called the Players Era. And like I said, it'll host 8 teams this fall at the MGM in Las Vegas and then 16 in 2025. And I'm interested to see how this all works.
Look, ASU, that should be a priority. You don't have any cash at all. Get into this tournament, try to win it, and get $1 million.
Well, I was going to ask you how they determine who the teams are in the tournament.
Not out yet. We're still working
Yeah,
on
I
it.
mean, ASU might be on the bottom of the totem pole, Jimmy.
Well, I know. I'm just
Not until
saying.
the fall, though. They're
I'm
doing this
just
in the
saying.
fall.
Yeah, just try to get
So it'd
into
be like
that
one of
tournament.
those early season
Yes.
type tournaments. I know this is all shoe on this last story, but ESPN Plus is going to roll out later this week a spring breakout squeeze play. It's a show centered around Major League Baseball spring breakout games that features all the top prospects in both the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. All the games, and they call it a whip around show, will be available nationally. And it's going to air at noon on Friday. So
But it's on ESPN
5
Plus.
hours of live coverage. How about that? MLB spring breakout games.
Shu, can you break away for our show at least for the 4 hour? You can tape that bad boy or what?
Yeah, you guys might not hear from me during the show. I'll be here. I'll push the buttons, but my attention might be elsewhere. Spring breakout this week. I'm very excited.
Man.
ESPN Plus.
Why do you keep saying that?
Another way to force you to subscribe to ESPN.
Well, ESPN Plus was the first.
Yes.
If you remember, that was like the first streaming service that you needed to have to watch sports because they would get some of those games that you could not normally watch.
Right.
So you'd have to get I remember during COVID having to get ESPN Plus to have my buddies over to watch the game in the man cave because you had to have ESPN Plus and you had to make it work with your computer and all this other crap. But anyway, and then lastly, the G League Ontario Clippers are going to relocate to Oceanside, California. That's San Diego. So San Diego, of course, was the home of the NBA Clippers in the 70s and 80s when Donald Sterling moved the team to LA. So here they are 40 years later. They're going to play there at the Front Wave Arena this summer, 7,500 seats. So pretty cool to see it get there.
I can't remember what arena was there when San Diego Clippers were there.
They played in that convention center downtown.
Is that what it was? The convention center?
Yeah.
Up next, what do we got? Another signing here. Former Patriots linebacker Mac Wilson has agreed to terms with the Cardinals. 3 years, close to $13 million. Kick it up to about $15 million. Played all 17 games last year. He's a former fifth round pick out of Alabama. Played for the Browns prior to that. Good job, Jax. Appreciate that. Is that you typing that? All right, good stuff.
That's him.
Coming up.